Hello everyone, I'm Havoc and this is Factorio Space Exploration. Before we get into the video, I'd like to go ahead and let everyone know that in the description below this video, there will be a link to my Discord and to my Twitch channel. Come join us in Discord. We really would love to have you there. I'll be putting information about videos out early as well as notifications for when I'm going to be going live streaming, so you guys can check that out down below, and let's get right into the video. Where's this train at getting my sand? Okay. It got the sand. It was just taking a little bit of time. So I thought there might have been an issue. We got our sand coming in. We got stone brick, sand, iron plates coming here. While I'm waiting on them to bring me what I need to make my trains, let's have a look-see at the next resource that we're going to require. So if I just wanted to finish the walls, I'm going to need steel next to get spiked wall production. It's another very easy one. We've got steel sitting around. I might actually increase how many I'm requiring right here. Let's just bump this up to 10. Bump this up to 10 so I'm not waiting so long when I'm dropping down a new train. I try not to let it fill my inventory up, but now I'm having the issue of not having enough. Okay, but that can just go start getting iron now that we've got the train down. We'll make this black. This is defense production, and we're going to say steel, and this is drop off 1. I like it. Very easy. Okay. Steel. Steel pickup, because I only have one. That's going to be a problem for sure in the future. The way my steel setup is, I don't think I'm producing enough, so I'll have to look at what I'm going to do with that in the future, because I don't know, maybe because I've got such a backlog, but I feel like this is going to be a problem because I'm going to have multiple trains coming in. There's one area to load steel at. It is very, very fast because I've got, what is that, 12 inserters on a single cargo wagons. It's going to load it very, very fast, but still. I think there will be an issue with throughput there in the near future. We'll see. Right now, not many things actually operate in the factory. Only certain things are running at a time. And what's going on down here? Where are these bots going exactly? Oh, they're coming to get small amounts of depleted uranium. I keep waiting on bots, and then I'm opening this up and seeing I have thousands of bots, but there's only a few actually moving on the map. And it's very inefficient everywhere because I've got them traveling such a long distance for everything they do. Okay, that's good to go to pick up steel. You are fueled and heading out. The next resource. It's lots of iron. So we're going to get into green circuits, glass, and then batteries. Electric motors. So I'm going to probably make motors here, because you need motors for the gun turret. So we might end up bringing in another train of iron plates. I don't know how many other things do we need iron for. Ooh, should I put artillery turrets in the blueprint, just in the wall every so often, and load them with atomic artillery? I don't know. No, I don't think so. It would be fun just because the atomic artillery itself is fun. How is this alive? Hold on here. How has that not been blown to smithereens? By an ion cannon blast. It's, well, oh, I know what it is. When a radar sweeps an area, if they find nest in it, they mark it. That one was built inside of an area. They don't sweep in the area they show normally. See, this is the problem right here. Constant damage to my walls, and then my robots are flying for forever. It's okay. We're working on a solution to that problem as we speak. Let's see about... What was I doing? I got distracted. The next resource is going to be... It's lots and lots of iron. Glass, green circuits. I'm a little conflicted about whether or not to bring copper plates over here to make the wires I'm going to need to upgrade motors into electric motors. Is that really beneficial? What else am I going to make in this area that might use copper? Probably the ammunition. Yes, I will make ammo here to refill, and that's going to take copper as well. And some steel. Oh, we'll need a little bit of uranium as well, so that's another resource because I'm going to be using uranium rounds in the wall. Okay, so bringing copper here would not be a complete and utter waste of a train output. How do you get an orangish for copper? An orangish looking. Somewhere in there. Looks orange enough for me. We're going to call it good, and we're going to get a train down. Now, like I said, I won't feel bad. I was looking at it and I'm thinking the only thing I'm going to use this copper for is for taking regular motors and upgrading them. Not copper, copper. So, copper smelting output. That's very easy. You got full cargo there. Then you're going to come back to... Did I name this? I didn't name this. That's the problem. I changed the color and didn't name it. Defense production. Copper drop off 1. Perfect. So, very easy. I'm starting to see a severe advantage in doing the name of where you're working first and then the resource after that. Forge hammer. Oh yes, I need to protect forge hammer from an coronal mass ejection. I'll have to do that soon. I think the last time I mentioned that, it was well over 10 hours. And I told you guys I would forget. And that's how this game works. I get so distracted on so many other things. Anyways, you should have fuel. You should be good to go. That brings copper up here. Iron, steel, copper. We're talking, this is going to need to be glass. So we can make this one white as well. White, because I can't do clear. So this is defense production. Glass. I'm hitting all of the wrong buttons. Drop off 1. There we go. And just want to copy this over to the train. And let's see about getting our glass flowing. So, glass pickup, because there's only one area where we do that till your cargo is full. Then we're going to come back to defense production until you have an empty cargo. Good to go. We are filling this up quite rapidly, as I thought we would. I may have to add on a station or two, because up next we're talking about green circuits. We also need batteries. So this one can be green circuits. That is a long name for a train station. It's a little too rich of a green for the green circuits, in my opinion. I think that's a better looking green. Okay. I'm going to say that, and then let's look at the train. No, I like it. We're going to go with it. We are going to go with it. So, green circuits pick up 1 or 2. I'm going to go with 1 because I think 2 we only did 2 because it was it's a temporary setup. I say that. I don't know. We need an awful lot of greens in the factory. Now we're going to unload right here at the defense production green circuits area. Up next we needed batteries. Everything else we should be bringing here. Engines are just going to take iron and steel, correct? What does it take to make an engine? Iron gears, pipes, motors, and steel. Yes, so that's just more iron and steel. The ammunition, we'll need uranium, iron, copper, and steel, and then the uranium. So I guess it's going to be batteries and then uranium. We can do we could do radars here. I don't know that I want to do radars here. I don't think that's definitely going to be something that's part of the build. But hopefully radars aren't getting destroyed often and needing to be replaced. That might be a flaw in the system there. So I don't think I want to include that. I want gun turrets, laser turrets, flamethrower turrets, walls, that's for sure. Landmines, that's what we were going to do. So we're going to make explosives elsewhere and bring them in. So we're going to have batteries. I'm just going to do black for batteries. Defense. Production. Battery. Drop off 1. Now this is where it's going to be interesting because I don't have enough battery production to do this full time off of right here. What train is going here? It's to the solar setup. Is that backed up completely? Are we... I've had it running for a while, as you probably could tell when it said there's only 5 hours left. Oh no, we're running. It's just only consuming so many batteries at a time right now. Oh, 21 a second's kind of a lot. I'm surprised the train's just sitting up here. I have a lot of batteries here. Okay. Well, maybe we can go ahead and snag batteries off of that little setup from our main build, from our main base, the main factory. I don't think it's super sustainable for a lot of production, but hopefully after we get enough going here, it won't be a problem. Battery loading 1. And then drop off. Oh, that's going to be painful. That's a lot of batteries that are going to be coming up here to sit in these chests after a while. That's okay. I'm going to need vision on this area. So that drops a radar there. How far does that radar actually show in this area? So that shows the better part of this build. I can drop one much further out here. Right in that area. I'm probably going to have to move that, but I do know that's the general area that it needs to be in. Oh, there's a big power pole in every one of these. Because I placed that one and then copied it. That's funny. That is excessive and unnecessary. We're going to remove that. But now also, let's go ahead and tack on at least two more. What is getting destroyed? Landmines? They're doing their job then. They are doing their job. I did notice something that I wanted to pay attention to was the last time I saw that it looked like they were eating the landmines before they were running over them and blowing up. Like it looked like they stopped, attacked the landmine, and then continued doing what they were doing. And if that's the case, I'm trying to figure out why in the world would you build landmines if they just stop and destroy them. But I might have seen either because there were too many landmines all in one area and it formed, say, a solid wall that they couldn't pass and that's why they stopped to do it, or maybe I saw it wrong. I'm not sure. Some testing that I'll have to do. That gives me a couple more pieces over here. Batteries are going to come in, and then we need explosives. Explosives can be solid red. Defense. Production. Explosives. Okay. It's absolutely going to be a solid red train. As red can get. Bringing our explosives over. And I don't have anywhere where I am loading explosives onto a train right now. I do make a ton of explosives, and I store them in a passive provider chest. I think what I need to do is figure out a way to load those up into a train for now and have them trained over here, because the difference is what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap out my train from being a temporary setup to later on I'll have a primary setup for explosives. I'm going to be working on a very large build for oil and everything oil related, because I'm currently tapping just under 1,000% there, just over 10,000% there, there's almost 12,000% there, and then almost 20,000% here. What I'm thinking about is simply piping vast amounts of this oil into a central area, somewhere in this area possibly, where I do all things oil and oil related and have trains that show up, load, and leave. I'll probably change this track here around. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. I did not leave myself much space here. That's the only thing, because I think I want it to be the double lanes, because I'll be adding a significant number of trains further out here. Oh well, we will see. That is a much further in the future goal. I say that, then I know what's going to happen. I'm going to run into a project where I'm going to say I need vast amounts of sulfur, sulfuric acid, I don't know, petroleum gas. And that's going to become the next project. I'm surprised I haven't been hit by a train yet. I am not using my jetpack and I keep running back and forth over the tracks over here. This gives us a good setup for our resources coming in. I don't have explosives anywhere. I've got batteries coming in. Did we deliver glass? This is glass. Okay, we should have what we need to get started. So here's where it might have been a good idea to not have a giant bot network covering this entire area. Because what I could have done is simply have these resources pumped directly into passive provider warehouses and then use a small bot army right in this area that would move the resources where they need to go. Because it's going to be a mess down here. It's going to be an absolute mess, and that's okay. Well, let's just leave ourselves plenty of room. That way we can weave belts and just have some spaghetti going everywhere as we work this out. We're going to start with stone wall, making stone bricks. I need these for multiple different products. I need to make concrete walls, and I need to make gates from the stone walls. The gates is going to require lots of other different resources. So what I may do right over here is actually think about the intermediary products that I'm going to need first and make a small main bus base coming off of this in order to make my resources. What I mean by that is I'm going to need motors. Motors require iron gears. I'm going to need motors and iron gears for the turrets. I'm going to need electric motors for this, which will be taking the motors that I make and tacking on more interesting items. So let's start like so. What do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Gives me 16 lanes. I probably need more than that. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Alright, so this can be where I set up my first little line. That way I have room to weave things in and out. I need to make motors, and that means I need iron gears. So we're going to take from this line here and make a lot of iron gears. We need to break out. I want to get my book that's got all my splitters, not belt balancers. Here we go. Mechanical prioritization. So let's pick some of these back up. Where did I put that book down? Right here. This gives me one belt of iron coming off. And I'm going to turn that into an excessive amount of iron gears. I don't need as many machines. I have lots and lots of our wonderful modules. Let's put a beacon down and see just how much I'm going to be producing from this one single little setup. What am I going to get? It's going to take 16 iron per second and produce 11.2 iron gear wheels per second. That's a lot. That's from just 2 machines. I think, let's see what I can do here. This is going to give me up to 45 a second coming out. I can probably do 4 of these. The only issue that I'm going to have is how do I feed this fast enough? I can always just put way too many inserters down. And that should have doubled everything. Now I'm using 32 iron plate, getting 22.4, so that's almost, it's just under half a belt per second from a blue belt. 'Cause that's what these handle, is 22.5 on one side of the belt per second. But that also means that I need to be able to unload incredibly fast, and then we're going to have room to take this back into the system. I think if I do 2 of those, that should be fine. We will go under our iron itself so that we can come out like so. That gives us a ton of iron gear wheels coming out. I don't know if it's enough. If it's not, I can mirror this on the other side. The only problem that I'm going to run into is I don't have enough. I only have 1 blue belt coming out. I would have to do 2 blue belts coming out this way, which, you know, I could do that. How many other items? This takes a bunch of gears. The motors for those electric motors will take gears. The engines and this itself takes gears. You're talking about motors there. It's probably just a good idea to make sure I get a full blue belt of iron gears out of here. And in order to do that, I need to change this up. I'm fairly certain there's a blueprint in here for getting 2 blue belts out at a time. The auto-saving takes such an excessive amount of time. I wonder if I should just trim the surface back, because it's taking so much. There are so many strange little splits in here. That's balancer. I don't want a balancer. What I want is, here we go. This is it. This gives you 2 belts out. And that's what I'm going to want to do. Because I'm going to have to mirror this. And I don't have enough iron from one side. And there we go. This is pretty easy. Is this power going to reach? It sure can. It can reach very far. We'll drop it like so to see what we get down here. Give me the maximum amount of coverage for my power. Now, just underground and come out right there. And that'll give me a full blue belt's worth of the iron gear wheels going down the way. What I need to do is make motors. Motors are going to take some of this iron plate and some of these iron gear wheels. I can make them let's see, I'm trying to think of the best way to do this without taking up a giant amount of space, but also not putting things in the way of others, I'm probably going to want to come right below this build and set up the motor build. That also allows me to use the same beacon right here. Now, this is a different crafting speed for the motor. This one is slightly longer. I'm going to throw production 4s into everything. What does this give me? This is already going to be using a significant portion of my iron gear wheels, but look at the return rate. I'm going to end up using 13 1/3 gear wheels and end up with 18 2/3 motors. So we end up with more motors than gear wheels. Is that only because of the production? Yes, it is absolutely because of our productivity modules, because it's a 1-to-1 normally, plus the iron plate. That's good. That is wonderful. Now what we need is a split belt of iron and gears. Right? What is this per machine? If I just do one, I need 3 per, we'll just say 4 per second of each of them. Now that can be handled very, very easily with a let's see, single stack inserter, because a single stack inserter right now is picking up 8, 1 plus 7, so 8 items per second. But at the same token, I don't want the issue that I was talking about before, where one picks up the iron gear wheel and is holding too many of those, and it can't pick up iron plate, and the machine might stop for the iron plate. So now what I need to do is get iron loading onto one side of this and the gears onto another. I don't need a fancy balancer for this. It's very simple. I've got just this coming down. So what I need to do is get a split. It's this book. That's not the right direction. There we go. We want a single bit of iron coming off, and that's going to run right here, and then these will run into the other side. We will simply underground, and we're going to set the underground up like so, so I can just put a splitter off. There we go. It's been a while since I've set up a main bus style build. I've been doing so many of these little modular builds, but what we've got going on over here I think will work best if I do it like so. Now, how am I going to handle the output? What is the output per machine? 5 per second per machine. Not bad at all. I can do that very easily with only a couple of these. And the overall output was 18. 19, we'll just say 19 per second. That can go onto one side of a blue belt very easily. So should I double this up and mirror this onto the other side, that it would not be able to run at full efficiency if I double it up, because it will be requiring 26 2/3 per second, and you can only get 22.5 per second onto a line. Also, if I double that up, that will consume, I keep hitting the wrong button. Right now, we are going to be producing 45. We're going to be making one full blue belt per second, essentially, out of our gears. 45 a second, and then if I double this up, I will be using more than half of the gears that I can produce. That might not be a problem. What I may do, instead of fully doubling it up, is do just 3 additional machines. We are going to do the same setup with our filters, stack inserters. And then I just need to power and beacon this thing. They move so slow. There you go. Now you can move. And this will allow me to get just a little bit extra out of this. So what does this build give me now? Okay, so I cannot even run this at full potential because I can only get 22.5 of each of the items on the belt doing it like this, and that's fine. So I'll be getting very close to, we'll just say 32 motors a second, which is a pretty excessive amount. I like that. I think that will work well for us. Next question is, where do I squeeze this? Into my lineup. I think I need to pass it underneath the iron and the gears. Like so. And that gives me the next setup. Now, I could also split this off immediately and turn some of these into the electric motors that I'm going to lead down the line by bringing some copper over. Or, for that matter, I was thinking about doing something strange and sending these to the left and splitting off and then immediately upgrading some of them to electric. I might actually still do that. I'm mulling things over. That leaves me room over here to do my concrete and my walls and get that coming down the line. And then I can have motors and such over here. Let's see what that would look like. If I were to do something along those lines, I can do something like that so that I have the doubled up belt here. Where would I turn them into electric ones? This takes a significant longer time, but I also don't want to turn all of what I'm getting. How many am I getting here? I don't want to turn them all into electric motors. So this is 32 a second. I need a significant number of those in order to make the turrets, the engines that go into that, in order to make some gates. There's only so many that I need per second for laser turrets. So I don't think I need too many made into the electric ones. Let's see. If I just went right up here. We'll try 4 because that's how many I could fit a beacon on, and see what that is going to do for me with a whole ton of production modules, with a whole ton of speed modules in the beacons. How many? That power line's going to bother me. Maybe I should move it. Let's just place it. This is going to take 10 per second of my 32-ish. So probably a third, roughly a third, and make 14 per second electric motors. That's probably plenty more than enough, to be honest. With the way things are going to run, I think that will be just fine. The only thing is that I will need 60 copper cables per second. So that means 15 per machine. Is that right? Yep, 15 per second per machine. Also, I'm going to have quite a few per second coming out. So what I can do here is something a little sneaky, and pass that belt underneath this setup, and then my remaining motors come out here, and only what is needed is grabbed. That will allow me to put these on a belt, on belts running out like so, so I can get out quick enough. And I'm only going to be making 14 per second, so that can all run onto one side of the belt. So we can end up with electric motors and motors coming down right over here. I just need to see, I've done this poorly actually, looking at it. Because I need this copper line to come down. I could just shift it over. I could absolutely shift it over. However, I could also shift this build to do something a little bit different. If I do it like so, that's going to be it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, feel free to hit that like button. I really do appreciate it. If you had any comments, go down there and leave it for me to read. I do appreciate that as well. As I said at the beginning of the video, there are links to the Discord and my Twitch channel. So come join us in Discord. Really do want you there. I'll be, again, putting information out early about videos and streaming times. And I will see you all next time.